Thank you, Chair Knudsen. 10.03, Archer Cluster Middle School naming recommendation. It is with great respect and admiration that I submit this recommendation for the naming of the Archer Cluster Middle School in honor of Dr. Mary K. Murphy in recognition of her remarkable service to our district and community. It is recommended that the school be named Dr. Mary K. Murphy Middle School. Dr. Mary K. Murphy has been a dedicated member of our school board since January of 1997, providing steadfast leadership, guidance, and advocacy for the success of our students and the growth of our district. Her tenure has been marked by a profound commitment to educational excellence, equity, and the well-being of all learners within our district. In recognition of her extraordinary dedication, I believe naming the Archer Cluster Middle School in honor of Dr. Mary K. Murphy would not only commemorate her contributions, but also serve as a lasting legacy to inspire future generations of students, educators, and community members. I respectfully ask the board to consider this recommendation and to honor board member Dr. Mary K. Murphy with this distinguished recognition and officially name the Archer Cluster Middle School as the Dr. Mary K. Murphy Middle School.
Board members. Board members, you heard the superintendent's recommendation. I need a motion for action.
I make a motion to approve the naming of the Archer Cluster Middle School, the Dr. Mary K. Murphy Middle School.
I have a motion by Ms. Watkins. Is there a second? I will second that. So the motion is seconded by me. Is there any discussion?
I do have a point of discussion. I want to first acknowledge Mary Kay's years of service, certainly commendable and honorable. And I would like to gain clarity on our process for naming schools. My understanding is that across the country, there are often naming committees put into place. I've also been told by Dr. Watts that we've had naming committees put in place to name other, I guess, facilities or parts of facilities. And so I'd like to hear what the process is that we follow here in Gwinnett County around naming schools and thinking about the future. You know, we'll likely have to name schools in the future. I understand that we've named several schools after school board members that have served 20+ years. I don't know if we'll have board members that will have served 20+ years if we have to name a school next year, for example. So can you please share what the process is? Because I want to ensure that we have a process that we can use in the future, and also one that is inclusive of community input and considers representation of the community as well, and wanting to make sure that our communities are seeing representation across the district and how we're going about selecting facility names in our district.
Thank you, Thank you, Dr. Simmons, for your feedback. And I know our previous conversation, I shared a high-level overview of that process. I will let Chief Gomez share the high-level overview of a policy that currently exists. And I trust if you have any questions, we can follow up after that. Mr. Gomez, thank you.
Superintendent Watts, board members, thank you. Policy and procedure, FDC, naming new facilities, are the guiding documents for us when we name facilities. Let me read you statement number 1, which says a facility can be named at the recommendation of the superintendent with board approval, or naming of school then takes on everything that you said is a lot to read, which is the creation of the naming committee and all the operational and parameters laid out in the procedure, where the committee considers history, road landmarks, historical landmarks, and comes up with a name for that school. So it's an or. It's either A, by the recommendation of the superintendent, or by the committee. But if number 1 is done, in this case, if the superintendent makes a recommendation, then you do not go to section 2, which is the committee.
So that is on the policy, and the policy refers to the procedure. Can you share the procedure with our board members, just so that we can have it? Because I don't know if we will
Absolutely.
have that.
I
Thank
have
you.
one copy here, but I
Are you
can
done?
send that to you.
No, thank you for sharing the policy, so I understand it as it was read. So my final comment will be that as a board member, I am one that is a strong advocate for inclusivity. I'm an advocate for voice, whether that's from students or parents or teachers. I really would like to see us as a district be more inclusive in our decision-making. What we've always done doesn't have to continue to always be done. We can do things that are not status quo. I would love to have seen us recommend Dr. Murphy to a naming committee for their consideration. We're allowing the community to have some voice in a very important decision. And so if we're one that values inclusivity, I think this would have been a great opportunity to demonstrate that with our community members. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your desire. Thank you.
And my discussion point is all of what you said. I agree with you, Dr. Simmons, and I also want to uplift Dr. Murphy and the service that you have dedicated so many years to GCPS Public Schools. I think, sometimes this is about process and this is about inclusivity, and so we want to make sure that we are doing that. I have another point as well. Representation matters, and historical reference is also very valuable. We have a board member who is no longer on this board, Mr. Everton Blair, who made history as the first black person on the Gwinnett County School Board, the youngest person on the Gwinnett County School Board, the first GCPS student graduate on the Gwinnett County School Board. And I would love to have the opportunity to honor Mr. Everton Blair as well with a naming of a school. And the process could be this same inclusive process that we are requesting, where we can also uplift Mr. Everton Blair's name in that process for naming a school after him. This is very important for our children. If I'm not mistaken, we only have about 3 schools named after black leaders, and we have 0 schools named after Hispanic. And we have a huge Hispanic population, and that representation and naming is really important. And I would love for that to be an inclusive process and considering other things as well. So, thank you.
As someone of color, and also a long family history of being honored, my grandfather was the first black captain in the Merchant Marines. To serve here for the United States, he also was the first black captain to command an integrated ship. And he was also the first to, because of all of his accomplishments and because of all the controversy behind him, he was also known for fighting fascism, McCarthyism, and racial injustice. And something I've learned from my family is that it's not because you are the first. He never acknowledged being the first. It's about the impact that you make and what you do in your communities, how you serve your communities. And being a part of District 1, where Archer is in my district, and I am the first Black and Asian to serve in District 1, and knowing the parents there and those who have interacted, and because I had to think about this as well, right? Because, well, why not me? Or why not Everton Blair? Or why not anyone else on this board? When I spoke with some of the parents that were there, especially in the Archer cluster with the middle school that was there, they knew Mary Kay, Dr. Murphy. She actually helped to support many of those. And these are black women, black men, okay? And because I was also, troubled by this. Not troubled, but you know what, why not me? Why not, this is my last term, why can't I, be named for something? But Dr. Murphy, what was intriguing to me when I spoke with these families, they said that she has always tried to represent the whole. And I took that to heart. And she served here for 28 years and fought all the way up until she felt that it was time to move on. So that is the reason why I personally made the motion to ensure that Dr. Murphy could be named, because she did do her service here for 28 years on this board. And the community as a whole has acknowledged that service. So, yes, it's important. I do take that at heart, where we do ask our families and everyone, especially this was in the Archer cluster, my district, and I have communication with many families. Okay? So, Dr. Murphy, thank you for your service here on this board. We may not have agreed, we don't agree on a lot of things, but we may not have agreed, but the one thing I did learn from you was how to work across the aisle and really look at the bigger picture and not what is in just my district, but the bigger picture. And also, you've helped our families on learning how to survive for themselves, especially during the time. We're going to go through some kind of time here in the next 4 years with a lot of changes in funding and everything. But you have taught me how to empower the schools to uplift themselves so that we can be successful. And I'm grateful for that experience. And when I go back out into the community as a constituent, I am going to be able to do those things to help uplift each and every one of these schools in District 1, regardless of me being on the board. As a matter of fact, I'll probably make more impact, because now I know. So thank you for your service, Dr. Murphy, and hanging in there with us. Your expertise actually is helping many schools all throughout the district. And, I wish you the best of luck in everything that you do, and I know you're not going to stop working, because that's what you do. So, I hope this will be a point of congratulations. You've got the building, finally.
I have a quick question. I just found out about this naming of this school today. That is unacceptable as a board for us to find out today. And my question is, did you all know that this was going to be on the agenda for naming Mary Kay School before today? Did you know?
I received a phone call last week. Was it last week? Yes, it was last week. He was asking, well, mainly because it was in my district. I think that's why I received the call. But, asking if it was okay to, just asking how I felt about that. But I think it's because it was in my district. I don't think it was any conspiracy behind it.
I'm not saying it's, this is again,
A couple days ago, he called me first as chairman this week, but it was this week.
And Dr. Teresa, you did
this is
receive my
again,
phone
I
call?
found out, well, no, I understand that, but I got the message today, is what I'm saying. Dr.
She did
Simmons,
receive
when
it.
did you get your message?
Today.
Today? Again, we have 2 members on this board that continuously get left out of decisions, and we just get railroaded on decisions from the other majority of the board members, and we did not even know about this. We should never be here the day of, no, this is fact, the day of, and this is just basic communication. The day of, and now we're voting on this very important thing, and the questions that we had around process could have been answered before if we would have had an advance notice like you two did. And you two did not share this with us.
Dr. Therese, when Dr. Watts calls me, I answer the phone. And I understand that he called you the very same day he called me and left you a message. So the fact that you didn't talk to him till today doesn't mean that he didn't try to reach out and talk to you. And I think that it's very disrespectful to use this as a time when you could talk to him about that anytime. And we have the opportunity to honor a person who has served this school system and this county selflessly for 28 years. And she has served the entirety of the district, the entirety of the student body. And you will see that and you will hear that from our staff and our constituents all across this county. So she deserves
This isn't personal to Dr. Murphy.
an honor.
This
I
is
understand
around
that.
process and
But you're making it
communication.
personal because you could deal with this at any time. You don't have to do this right now. You could simply congratulate her and move on and talk about these things some other time. We're going to honor her in a way that's appropriate. And it's very appropriate. I've served with Dr. Murphy for 6 years. I am a better person because of my service with Dr. Murphy for 6 years. She is a lady of grace and a lady of class and a lady of selflessness. And you will hear that from people all over this county. You would not have the attraction of all of the people who continue to come to this county without the service and work of Mary Kay Murphy. She has done an incredible job. Congratulations, Dr. Murphy. This honor is well deserved, very well deserved. I wish we could do more. That's about all we can do. But you have been a tremendous asset to this community for many, many years, beyond your time of service here on the board, but certainly the 28 years on the board. And I appreciate you as a person, appreciate you as a colleague. And your support of our staff and our students has been exemplary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. No. It's 3-2 with Dr. Simmons and Dr. Therese opposing.